And now let's jump into that interview with Pastor Drew Davies. Many of you will remember that Drew and Emma were on staff at C3 San Diego, now known as Awaken Church. They were campus pastors there. And this past year came to the place where they really felt the call of God to move to Seattle to plant a brand new church known as Hope Village Church. And in the process, they sold their house. They were on their way moving up toward the Seattle area, and we had booked them for our Refresh conference. They arrived the week of the Refresh conference. We made some plans, got together, and in the process, everything came unhinged with the coronavirus. And so we tried to schedule something even for Saturday morning after the conference was canceled for all of our leaders. And in the process, it snowed that morning, a couple inches, and we had to cancel even that. Rowena and I had a cup of coffee with their family before they made their way up to Seattle, but now they're there. They have an apartment. They're getting set up. They launched their website, but they're planting a church in this crazy season of online. And so we'd love for you to tune in now and listen to the interview with Pastor Drew. It's a exciting season in their life, and there's some challenges, but you can tell as you listen to him, it doesn't affect his faith at all. We're so excited about this opportunity we have to partner with them as another C3 church here in the Pacific Northwest. Good morning, church family. We have the incredible privilege of having Pastor Drew Davies online with us today. We're going to do a little interview with him. Drew, you're up in Seattle. How are things going for you today?
Steve, things are going so good. We are loving living in this amazing city. We're loving the Pacific Northwest. It's an interesting time, as you know, but hey, it's still beautiful up here. It's perfect. The weather's been phenomenal.
Is it?
The people that we have been able to sort of interact with have been incredible, and we've just loved it.
What is it like to start a church in the middle of a pandemic?
Well, that's something that I can't seem to find any articles on, any books on.
You didn't take that. You didn't take that class in Bible college. Come on, where were you?
No, they never teach you that in seminary. They never teach you that. How to start a church in the middle of a global pandemic. Also, how to start a church in the middle of a global pandemic when you're moving to a city where you don't know anybody, which is the next part of that. So it's been really interesting.
Yeah, I would ask you, what is your game plan for launching the church? Because right now in this season, you'd actually be building relationships and meeting people and connecting and get. Previously, you were shooting for, I think, a September launch, if I remember correctly. But what does it look like now?
Well, we're still going to work towards and really aim for September. We don't want to push things back. Maybe October, but we don't want to push things back to December or New Year. We still want to really work towards and believe God for that. We're still going to move forward with connecting with people. If it may look, well, will look differently. It'll look like a lot of Zoom calls and phone calls, and just trying to make relationships start that way. And we're just really hoping and believing God that within a month or two we'll be back to somewhat normal, at least being able to have some connect groups, some small groups, some dinner parties. That'd be the next step. Yeah, but we're just trying to navigate this. We're about to jump into raising funds for the church. We've got a whole series of fundraising we're about to jump into as well, and a bunch of other sort of work behind the scenes, launching our website this week, and some videos to make, all that stuff. So we're pretty busy as it is.
Let's talk a little bit. Do you mind shifting into some leadership concepts? I think that's probably right up your alley. For most people in our church family might not realize, but you worked on staff down in San Diego at what was previously C3 San Diego, and now it's Awaken Church. Pastor Jurgen and Leanne Matthesius have been your pastors, and you're part of that crew that's been able to work on staff with them. I got to say, I do envy you slightly. And I think a lot of people do, because that's such a world-class church with world-class leaders. Maybe share a little of your experience and what you were doing most recently before you guys left staff to plant the church.
Yeah. Okay. Well, long story short, left Australia. That's the accent, in case someone's wondering. Left Australia 9 years ago to do an internship at Awaken Church, formerly C3 San Diego. So that was 9 years ago. Did the internship, and fast forward a few years, ended up coming on staff at the church to be the small groups pastor, the Connect group pastor. And then my wife and I actually launched a campus. It was originally called the South Campus. It's now called the East Lake Campus. And we started that campus just over 5 years ago. And we started in a movie theater, had 2.5 years in a movie theater, and then got into a building, had the last 2.5 years in a building. And then in January, we just handed that campus off to two of our dear friends, Pastors Mike and Katie Yeager, who are just taking it to the next level, doing phenomenally well. And it's been a fun journey, man. We have loved our time in San Diego. We're so thankful for it, and we would not be doing what we're doing today if it wasn't for the 9 years in San Diego. We wouldn't be who we are today if it wasn't for the 9 years in San Diego.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rowena and I were able to be there on your very last Sunday. It just worked out that way.
That's right.
It was super cool. I'd been in the building there before, but I didn't know you at the time. And now, of course, while we were down there, we knew you and your wife, Emma. It was such a neat day, to watch you be honored on that very last Sunday and to recognize, that you led that campus, over 1,500 people. And so there's a real high level of the watermark for leadership there at Awaken Church is incredibly high. I mean, it's amazing how many incredible, strong leaders there are leading the church. And certainly you guys were two of those, high level leaders. Where leaders right now are separated from the church, in essence. I'm talking about that day-to-day interaction, relationships face to face. What would you recommend leaders do during this season of waiting? Because I know everybody's kind of hit pause on their social calendars, but the people of God can't hit pause. Leaders can't hit pause. I mean, we're always moving forward. So give me a couple of points for our leaders to maybe lean into. What should they be doing during this season to continue to build themselves and build their leadership strength?
Well, I think to build yourself in this time, I think more than ever, we have a responsibility as leaders to lean into God like never before, to make sure that we're going to faith, not going to fear, that we're not leaning towards the negative, but we're speaking positive. I think with people that we're leading in our teams and our small groups, I think it's more important than ever to be speaking life into people and to be encouraging people and to be constantly reminding people that although this seems, and I'm not undermining it, it seems like it's a very big thing. It will pass. This is a season that will end.
Right.
And
absolutely.
And life will go back to normal. It may be a slightly different normal. It may take some time, but I really believe that the devil is having a field day with some people, and he doesn't need to give them the coronavirus to have a field day with them. He's having a field day with them in their mind.
Come on, how true is that?
Yes, and switch off the news and just pick up the word of God, and regardless on whether you believe that the news is telling the truth or not, sometimes you just need to switch that thing off, and you just got to lean into God more than ever before. And I think as well, even from like a leadership standpoint, never assuming that people are okay, never assuming that, oh man, they're going to be fine, they've still got their job, they're going to be totally okay. I've just discovered more and more that the more people I've been connecting with from different parts of the world, that even people who have still got their job, they're just not doing very well. This even within themselves, there's the whole world's kind of rocky right now. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. People are locked up in their homes with their family, which creates a great bonding time, but also some great friction time.
Too much of a good thing is still too much.
And so I think just checking in with people and being creative with it. I think it's amazing what just even a short phone call can do to somebody. You don't have to have a coffee meeting to catch up with somebody. Even just making sure you're on the phone actively with people that you're responsible for, people that you're shepherding and leading more than ever.
During a season like this, give me 2 or 3 places that you're going to go besides the Bible to build yourself up as far as leadership materials or leadership techniques or avenues where you can go and draw from to build specifically leadership. Maybe a couple podcasts or a couple books that you'd recommend.
Yeah, I'm a big podcast guy. I think Kerry Newhoff has a phenomenal podcast. I think most people listening to Craig Rochelle and Elevation Church. And I mean, we're not struggling for information these days. We could, but I'm leaning into that. I learn typically more audibly than I do with reading, so I love that. My gym is shut down, so I can't work out right now, which is it's a big deal to me. With my journey of losing a lot of weight years ago, so I've just been as much as possible trying to go for a run with my with a podcast, and it's all I can really do right now, and it's been really important to me.
What is maybe one of the craziest miracles that you've witnessed while on the team there? And I know that miracles are regular and constant, but what's maybe one moment your mind went?
Yeah, man, there's a lot. I mean, we've had miracles in Sundays. Most Sundays we have miracles. We pray for miracles every Sunday. I mean, more recently, I remember kind of more towards the end there, having just praying for a lady who came to me after church one day. I didn't really know her very well. She kind of wasn't too regular in coming to church, but she told me, "Man, I've got a cancer diagnosis," and so just took a quick moment to pray with her, and just a quick 30-second prayer. It wasn't like a powerful prayer. She didn't fall over. She didn't. Nothing special happened. And I kind of not forgot about it intentionally, but a month went by, 6 weeks went by, and then she came up to me after service and said, "Pastor, you prayed for me just a little while ago, and I don't have cancer." And so that's just that's sort of the cool thing about Awaken Church, is that story is not a rare thing.
Right.
That's something that we hear about all the time.
It definitely inspired me when I first was introduced to the C3 family, and especially down there in San Diego. Me and our team, we began to like devour podcasts. We would, I knew you before I knew you because I've listened to you online speaking, and to observe that level. John Heinrichs would be another guy. He's such a guy that's all about, man, let's go after the stuff.
They call him the Hammer because he's the Hammer.
He is amazing, and
he's amazing, and he's got abs too.
Yeah, well, I saw him online this morning. He's got a pretty good looking haircut that I'm thinking of emulating. I got to get plugs first, but if and when I do get plugs, I'm going to have them cut my hair like his look this morning. But one thing that he really did was he really challenged our thinking, and actually it was more of our posture in presenting a miracle to people. It was not, hey, come to the altar and we're going to pray together and hopefully you'll be healed. It was the declaration that if you come, God will heal. Yeah. And previously to, 5 years ago, before I really knew the C3 family, man, I'd be really hesitant to like go there that strong. And John was really adamant about saying, hey, listen, you need to go there strong, because that's what creates the vacuum for faith to work in. Yeah. And I'm telling you, after we switched that posture in our church a couple of years ago, the numbers of people who have been healed from cancer, and all sorts of other things has been pretty remarkable. So for us, just this little church up in Southwest Washington, what a huge impact your church and the C3 family there in San Diego has had on people here in our region. There's several people in our church who previously had cancer and it wasn't a good diagnosis that are completely cancer-free, along with other miracles. And, the faith of the team down there and what they're doing ripples its way through the nation here. So all the work that you guys were doing down there, I don't know if you realize this, but you were helping us the entire time. So I really, really appreciate what you guys have done and what you've been able to be a part of. It's super, super, super cool. Hey, listen, we officially, from myself and Rowena and our entire team, I know that we already did this in private, but here publicly on the internet, I just wanted to say to you and Emma how excited we are that you came to that moment where you sensed the call of God to come here to the Pacific Northwest. We have a few churches here in the Northwest, and we work at relationship. But the fact that you would hear the call from God, that you'd respond in faith and leave such a great, great opportunity. I mean, if you had just plugged your ears and just stayed where you were at, I know that would be disobedience, and I know you wouldn't do that, but what a great thing you had going. But how excited we are to have you arrive up here to strengthen the team, the relationships, the family up here in the Pacific Northwest. And I look forward to the days ahead where your impact is on a local level for our church family and whatever we can offer for your church family. We believe that God's brought you up here, not only to reach Seattle and plant multiple campuses and just build a great thing that looks a lot like what you've experienced and been a part of building down in San Diego, but we believe that God has sent you to help build our thing here, and we plan on just milking you dry. I don't know if that's an expression I can use on the internet. I don't know if that's an expression that you want to use in relation to you, but there is definitely, thank you for coming. I just want you to know that our church appreciates that. I felt like so bummed out that we didn't get to really do anything on that weekend that you guys were here, but there's more days ahead, and we're excited about the deposit that you're going to make.
Oh, thanks so much, Steve. We're just so excited to be up here. We love the Pacific Northwest. We believe that C3, that the C3 church, the type of church that C3 is really going to work well up here in the Pacific Northwest, and we're excited to help where we can. We love you guys. We love all the other churches that are up here. There's so many great churches already up here in Portland and different areas, and we're just loving being part of the gang up here in the Pacific Northwest. It's a lot of fun. Good people.
Yes, absolutely. Well, hey, thanks for your time today, and we'll be praying for you, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks so much, Steve. We love you guys. Talk soon.
What a fantastic interview with Pastor Drew. Rowena and I are incredibly excited about the Davies being here to plant another C3 church in the Pacific Northwest. So stay tuned. You'll see them around more. Jump on their website, sign up to support them. Let's make sure that as a C3 church, we get behind them and push, because this region needs many more churches of faith, of strength, and of power. They need another C3 church, and Seattle's about to get one.